Take two. I'm trying to explain. Okay. So I got a cool new build that I think is pretty fun, and it actually works. I was never able to clear tier 3 simulacrum, or like, yeah, whatever, the highest tier that is required for all the books with the Flicker Strike character, or even the Amazon. But this character did it pretty easily, and on a limited budget too. So I think it's a pretty good build. It's a little bit exploity, which is always a good thing, right? So the skill in question we're going to use today is Plague Bearer, and it's not really a meta skill, obviously. No one really talks about this one, but I'm not sure. Nothing really changed this patch that makes it so that this one's like now like really playable. You might say Ambrosia, because this thing does not take many supports. And it's weird because it's a damaging skill, but the number of supports you can put in here is really limited because it is a very weird skill. It's not an attack, it's not a spell, it's an aura you put on yourself that reserves 30 spirit, and it acts like a bucket for all the poison damage you do. And it's not that hard to fill it up. You can do that in many ways. But the exploity thing here that I'm going to show you is if you use Trample Toe, which deals overkill damage. So we all know Trample Toe from last league, where people use it with the Frost Wall, and by overkilling the Frost Walls, you would do like massive damage to the surrounding enemies, because what you would stack is the lines here: the gain X damage is extra whatever damage. This thing. So every time the overkill procs, this damage bonus reapplies. So it starts like multiplying on itself, like kind of exponentially or whatever. And you get like what you have a small initial damage, it would start to propagate into like massive damage until like it hits like zillions, you know? And there's even like a self-feeding infinite damage loop with Temporalis and Choir back then, which is now kind of gone, I think. But you know, the core mechanic remains, you know, if you use it properly, which is just you kill an enemy. If the damage is massive, this will propagate it. This Trample Toe, it's a really interesting item. Basically, if you ever have a situation where you can deal a lot of damage to like just one area, but your problem is that, okay, now there's like 50 mobs around you, like behind them, that are now coming at you, but you know, your slow big hitting skill is not available or is on cooldown. These boots will make a massive difference. I mean, you'll see it. There's a physical explosion that comes out of the overkill, and it propagates because this feeds on itself in a recursion. It's really it's a little bit busted, actually. I like it, and it doesn't get much play, I think, because there's Lightning Spear. Because there's other options to just, you know, you don't have to use these boots. You can just, there's other ways to clear quickly. But on a budget, I think this is amazing. And so this is actually a two-step kind of a thing, where how do you stack the poison? The easiest way, I think, is a shield charge. They may have buffed it this patch where it's doing a lot of damage. If you have a high armor shield and shield charge, it's a slow attack and it has a cooldown. You can give it 2 charges, but it's still very slow. You're not meant to spam it. But look, it's the collision damage on average is doing 40k. Like that's huge. That's a lot of damage. Like if you look at like your spells, right? Like that's base damage, right? This is before multiplying all your other damage bonuses. Wait, no, that's including your increased damages, but not the stuff on the gem. So, wrong screen. If you look at some of the, like your base, let's say spells, like I'm using level 17, but you know, point still stands. Like a high damage when Comet, 400 to 700. Of course, it gets multiplied by your increased damages, but can you hit 40, 50k per cast or something? It's a lot of multipliers required, right? So anyway, but you could use Comet, the thing is, you know, but I mean, but shield charge, yeah, this clunky skill, Still better than Comet, if you ask me. It's like, you know, at least it takes you across the map. It will, when you hit someone with this, it does a lot of damage. And scale it with Deepest Tower. Put Execute on it. Even more damage, like insane damage. Again, this item will multiply close range damage by a factor of 5. It's like the Archmage, the old Archmage for attacks. Okay, think of it that way. And this one a Delhi map because yeah, it's like a Delhi map. Unknown. Could die, but whatever. Oh, not hitting Grotto. So yeah. So how it plays, it's a 2-button. This is closer to a 1-button play style where you just spam Plague Bearer and screens will pop. And the cool thing about the build, the thing that makes it special, is that Plague Bearer will recharge itself. So you basically have a big boom button that's always like kind of there. That's always up. The catch is that you can miss. If you hit Plague Bearer and hit nothing, it'll go to 0 again. Right now it's at 0. But I just found a first pack. You start off the thing by using Shield Charge. Hold on, Shield Charge. Okay, 100%. Now. That wasn't that impressive. Hold on. I have to get warmed up here. Boom, there you go. That's a lot of... Like, did I just delete the whole, like... Delirium guy there? I think it's pretty high to... Is it? Yeah, like that. Like big pops like that. Sorry for the frame rate, it's really bad. Like that's pretty big, right? And you just walk through the map like this, and you look at the Plague Bearer. I mean, if you do that on one enemy, it goes to 0. But you can charge it up with Shield Charge pretty quick. And boom, right? As long as you hit multiple enemies with it, Trample Toe will propagate the damage and inflict poison on the other enemies behind the one you killed. And you will get your Plague Bearer stacks back pretty easily. And you just spam it through the whole map. And yeah, you need a tanky character to do this. So I picked the Pathfinder because, well, I mean, like, there's no real reason why you picked the Pathfinder. Just it's kind of a defensive ascendancy at this point. Bye, Omniphobia. 1 poison and done, right? This is like a very high deli map, and oh my god, I'm gonna die. Frame rate's going to hell. All these splinters and crap. What's this? I think this was a 75% deli. So pretty high. Kaboom. I'm not going to do Ritual because I have no Chaos Res and it's going to kill me really quick. Anyhow. Whenever you have no charges, 1 shield charge will bring it back usually. And yeah. And because you're doing all this elemental damage on top of the, like, because the gain is extra, you freeze stuff. It's funny. They explode in ice cubes, even though it's not, you know. And you keep stacking the Plague Nova charges. Like, you know, that's what makes it good. If this went to 0 every time, it's, like, not as playable. Although you can always restack with a shield charge, you know. So, like, look at this rare, right? Deli doesn't matter. Click, boom, right? The damage is in like the range of a 500k AoE around you, not including the poison. So, and then when whatchamacallit, the Trample Toe propagates it, the gain is extra applies again. So, about with the wand I'm using, it's about double damage. There may be a case to use a staff after. Actually, it might be not a bad idea. Because a staff, I would think, rolls double the values of that gain is extra. And nobody uses staves, I think. At least not ones that are rolled like that. Alright, the other thing that's really good about this one is it doesn't use mana. It has 0 mana cost. So, you know, a lot of times you're like kind of gated by the mana cost of a skill. Well, this is no mana cost. So you can be totally out of mana, but you can still spam this skill. Like, look at the boss. The boss is the weak thing about the build. So, it's 75 deli, okay? So it's not going to be a very good demo. But yeah, shield charge, 97, another poison. He just keeps... Okay, look. When he's got all... When they have, boom. That's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, this is high deli, so... I think normally that would be like an 8 million, probably, because I think I'm getting like a lot of reduced damage here. It wasn't hard. You just alternate between shield charge, plague nova, shield charge, plague nova. The damage is only like maybe like, I don't know, 500. I would say it's about 1 million, including the poison. But burst is only like 500 per nova. The thing that I like about this build, though, is that it's tanky. I mean, it's relatively tanky. My HP pool is not that big, but it's not just about HP pool, right? Why is this person untargetable? It's crazy. 72 evasion, 47 block, 35 armor. We know armor's not that great, but that's pretty. Like, look, I'm not getting hit. Because for you to get hit, they have to cross the evasion first, then block. And you can raise that block if you chose to like 50, 70, 60 maybe, not 70, but and yeah, you become like pretty unkillable. The only thing that kills you now are like, you know, those AoE explosions, elemental chaos. Everyone hates those because, you know, and you don't have enough evasion to take acrobatics. So what I did with this build is, you know, I chose Pathfinder because they have this really weird node. You get 30% of your evasion rating goes to LE damage reduction, which I assume is not really stacking with the resistances. So you know, you have max resists and you have like 72 evasion, another 20 something elemental damage reduction on top. I don't know the exact math. That's gotta be like 4 max res, 5 max res. That's pretty good for a you know. I mean, other nodes that give you that, like on the other ascendancies, you have to click it and then click other stuff, and then, you know, like gemling, you have to stack like a lot of gems, and that's just raising the max res. It's not giving the max res. You still have to boost your resistance values to be like 80, 90 or whatever. Here, you just click that node, right? And then the best part is, if there's like, you know, those dreaded like LE pen and all that, or like, I'm no, not that one, the max res, reduced max res, which is like a lot of Katava players don't like. This one is not affected by it so much because that's just flat like LE damage reduction. What's wrong with my throat, man? Anyway, there's a tailwind item. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to play this build. You just kaboom. If it doesn't kill him outright, the poison will. The poison damage is pretty significant. So yeah, Trample Toe, key item. Plague Finger too, because what Plague Finger does is, if you have, for example, these lines of damage is extra, and they're elemental, they will not count towards poison damage usually, because poison damage is only inflicted by physical or chaos. But Plague Finger will basically, it just means, this bottom line is just, ugh. It just means, they should write it this way. Okay, elemental damage also contributes to poison magnitude, because by default, physical and chaos do. The only damage type left is elemental, so I don't know why they are wording it so weird. So yeah, like that's a high deli map, which is not. Is there any indicator of how hard it is? And look, another reason to run Pathfinder, huh? This is the most like low key. It's pretty useful. It's a useful ascendancy. It's not a OP powerful one. But look, there's your speed is unaffected by slows. People hate Temporal Chains map. I didn't even notice this had temporal chains on it, right? I ran it un-ID'd. So it's a good farmer. And then you get things like immune to shock, which is so boring as an ascendancy pick, but you know shock is pretty deadly, right? You get to choose ignite. I mean this node for like picking an ascendancy node, this should be like ignite, shock, and freeze immunity. Cause you know, I don't know. Yeah, and you know the 6 passive points. Like as I was tinkering with this build and trying other stuff, this is the one node I could never take off, because if you're a min-maxer of this tree like I am, 6 passive points is a huge. It's like you're saying like right now, okay, remove those points. Now I'm like, okay, but every point I've allocated seems to be important to me. You know, like I feel like I'm chopping off my build if I take away 6 points. It's like this is actually Pathfinder is the most boring ascendancy, I think, because the concoctions got nerfed. This is the only fun part about the build, and they gutted it so hard. I don't understand their rationale, because I tried using them, and it's like you're not even allowed to use them with a wand. Like it's so stupid. It will try to weapon swap you if you don't. It's like this thing actually bricks your build. It's hilarious, and the damage is nerfed. It takes all your mana charges. I just don't see a use case for these concoctions anymore, and it's like, what are they thinking? I just couldn't understand. Like, what are you supposed to do with these concoctions? I don't get it. Enduring elixirs was okay. Like, you know, the good thing is that you pop 1 elixir and you get like crazy regen, right? It's like from PoE 1. I never played it in PoE 1, but it's not a bad node. It's just I can just push the flask again, and what kills you usually is not like sustained damage, but you just get one shot through all your damage, through all your HP. Not enough here, and yeah, and it's sadly to say, even though this is kind of a poison build, you don't even need these nodes. The most useful one is this one, Magnitude of Poison. This one's useless because we're not trying to spread poison here. Like as you can see, like the poison it's just a way to store damage into Plague Nova, and the AoE is actually handled very well by Trample Toe. And there's very little reason to take this one. I mean, I was like, okay, is that good? It's like, it doubles the number of poisons. This is for a build that hits very often, I would say. So, like, I mean, like, you can get, what, 6 to 8 poisons, maybe? But it's usually underwhelming because you'd have to land big. I think, you know, to make it significant, you have to land 6, 7, 8 big hits. Like, can you think of a skill that lands 6 to 8 big hits in a shorter time than a poison duration? Like, Flicker Strike? I don't know. And at best, poison is just amplifying your damage by 30 to 50%. Like, you know, like, let's look at. I have a lot of Magnitude of Poison stuff around here, and Shield Charge says on a collision, the total damage is 46k, of which poison becomes. Well, that's pretty significant. That's like a 15k poison off that hit. Yeah, it's about. Wow. So yeah, a third of the damage is transferred to poison. Actually, we've got to take the high roll here. Half the damage? Wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. So, this is legit a poison build. Just, sadly, we can't. Like, there's one case where you might want to take this. Like on a boss. Because you need to hit him multiple times. And you cycle back and forth between Shield Charge and Plague Nova. And if you do it too fast, the poisons get like overwritten. They don't stack, and that'll let you stack more. But because these are really slow skills, like I don't know, and the poison duration is 4 seconds. This is about 1 second, 1 second. So, but it's more than 1 second. I think it's like at best you're stacking 3 poisons. So you get a +1 anyway from the tree. Here, with the downside, And there's one more here with a downside. I think that's it, right? And there's comorbidity support. So I think what you could do here is just add comorbidity to shield charge, but it doesn't. I don't know. Just for the boss, right? And I'll show you a cool trick. Like on some encounters that have where you can like drag a bunch of mobs in with you to the boss, you can just do the old Frostwall trick where if you just pop like the mobs, generally speaking, the overkill damage will ramp on the boss, and the boss will be insta deleted usually. Is there a good example of this? Let's see. There's an augury. Not Steaming Springs. I don't think they really follow you. You have to drag the mob. Val Temple is a good one, actually. Oh no, Val Factory, everyone's most hated map. This is Val Factory. This build does Val Factory very well because you don't have to aim. Savannah's a great one. Savannah's got all the hyenas and crap, right, that follow you in. I'll show you. On a map like Savannah, the boss kill is even faster than Flicker because the moment you see that HP bar, you hit Plague Nova and poof, he's gone. Like there's nothing faster than that, right? Boss gets out of his RP, HP bar appears. The only thing is a lag between you seeing the health bar and applying your attack. It's like about what? Less than a second? Half a second? So anyway. Dense maps are great, right? Shield charge, stock the poison, and release. Better get close to them. Get close to them. You're so like tanky, get close to them. This is about Lightning Spirit clear levels, if you ask me. Like, of course, if you got like the best setup with like the Sacred Flame, and you have like a roll mount, and you're like full speed clearing, then that's still faster, of course. But like, come on, that's a 22 Divine Scepter, right? This is budget gear. Doing the most expensive item is the Deepest Tower, right? Which is not that bad. So yeah, pardon the lag. This map, this build though, it really cripples the FPS because I'm guessing it's all the trample toe explosions. It's a funny build because you just run into mobs. Oh no, not as tanky as I thought. I think there's chaos damage, and I have 27, so okay, I'm gonna avoid that pack. Yeah, you have to be tanky to play this build because oh my god, they're everywhere. These plants. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know, evasion's saving me here. But yeah, I run too close to those packs and I'm dead. Come on, let's just get to the boss. So okay, here we bugged out. The number on the bottom right, you can note it, maybe you see it. It's like a bugged out number. I think it's because with Trample Toe and those big pops, it's basically too much damage stored. So you have to reset your Plague Bear like that. It's kind of lame. And it happens less on Delhi maps, I think it's because of reduced damage. But it happens sometimes. Anyway. Yeah, the one thing you don't want to do is kill exactly one enemy with Plague Bear. Because then you won't get charges. That mob's poison damage does not count towards your next one. I think the mob that you kill with Plague Bear directly do not count to your next poison count. But the game does allow the mobs that Trample Toe kills for you. So yeah, so on a boss like this, drag all the hyenas with you, take them as like little poison bombs. I think there's more mobs coming in. Yeah. And then and I died too, but whatever. You know, I don't. Oh, it was these things that hit me. I was just whatever. But he died too. Yeah, I gotta build defense. But you see the picture, right? Like you can just blow off the boss like that. Are they still here? Oh boy. Anyway, so that's the build. I think it's pretty fun, and I think it's pretty interesting interaction between Plague Bearer and Trample Toe to keep the charges permanently stocked up. If you hit multiple, like if you let Trample Toe kill other stuff, then yeah, and then you use Plague Finger. So if you, and oh yeah, Ice Fang Orbit, not a requirement, just it's got really good chance to poison and magnitude of poison. And I got one for really cheap with the increased damage, which is, so the trick with this build is that to scale the Plague Bearer damage, you can't even use attack damage because it's not an attack. So nodes on the tree that say like increased like damage for attacks will not count towards Plague Bearer. But Deepest Tower, I think this is what makes a difference, is this item, the Deepest Tower, because now you have access to all the you know, the same old cluster here, that give you like a crap ton of like just flat, simple, basic increased damage. It's so like vanilla, but it works. Like it's a lot of damage, right? Like in POB, which may not even be accurate, but it's you know it is for these calculations. I think if you drop these nodes, you lose like about, I don't know, you drop to a fifth of your damage, and that's huge. Like getting 5 times damage. Yeah, and I even set it to Unwavering Stance because, yeah, you don't need a dodge roll with this build. You just, what will kill you is if you try to do the Plague Nova and you get stunned, chain stunned or something, and you can't get it off in time, and then the mobs are piling on you, and then you'll be taken down. So, other than that, a cute little heroic tragedy. They're not that expensive. This is just to convert, because you don't need mana for this build. So, you know, get more evasion. You can't run Wind Dancer. It'd be good to run Wind Dancer, but this wand is going to increase your shield charge damage by a crap ton. Like, look, it says 11k, right? Take the wand off. 6k, right? Oh, man. I shouldn't have taken it off. Now I have to do the whole... It's annoying. I have, like, items with... Oh, man. That's so annoying. But anyway, yeah. So, the wand itself is giving you, like, so much damage. Because the damage is extra. So, like, that wand is doubling your damage. Now, there's this cool tech I saw with Nebulock where you can, like, guarantee a crit by using an endurance charge. And I guess if you stack crit multi, the shield charge with other stuff baked in, I think, would just, it obliterates like bosses, like just flat out obliterates them. But I don't know, like I looked at the numbers, like okay, yeah, but you need like a lot of. It's like the blood mage builds, like they're cool. It's just, but you need so much. Now wait a second. I should put more intelligence, yeah. Int is good for my build. Because it gives evasion. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So this though, like your damage scaling is just all cheap sources. The Deepest Tower again, and damage from your tree. Your rings are just, this is just a generic resistance ring. This can't possibly cost more than 5 chaos. You know these damage rings that people need because of Tangle Tongue? They are so pricey, right? Yeah, hell you want to do? You don't want to play with that, right? Plague Finger, this is a 1 exalt item. Trample Toe, more than 1 exalt, but it's very cheap. And the shield is a little bit expensive. I think it was like 10 chaos or something. You want one with high armor, because that's how you get shield charge damage. And wand is, this kind of wand in the Temporalis boom was so expensive, I think. I mean, it's missing the critical chance, but to have, these are nearly top rolls for Gain is Extra. And Gain is Extra is the weird exploity stat line that makes Trample Toe do crazy stuff. Without this, Trample Toe behaves normally, but with this item, Trample Toe does not behave normally. It does extreme amounts of damage. Like, I should not be able to one-shot that boss like that, but I did, and it's all because of the the combination of extra and trample toe. I will see actually if there's a case for using a staff. Like you would charge up your this Plague Nova, but then after you'd use like a staff for like just because you want to stack the extra damage. But I don't know. I mean, theoretically, you can do double damage that way. Another, like, if you had the currency, Chernobog's Pillar would be amazing in this slot because you get, like, if you have max block from glancing blows, you would get 75% damages extra. Like, that's crazy. A fire, I think. But because of that and Plague Finger, that would almost nearly, I would say, like a 50% more damage increase. But yeah, that's an insane stat line. Like right now it's about 100. Yeah, about 100, right? Damages extra. So add 70 on top. Actually it'd be more like a 35. It's not as much as I think it is. Right. And a staff would only give you about 50% more. If this was doubled. But still, you know. Like, yeah. Right. So that's the build, and I think it's pretty cool. And the league is kind of dead, though, and I'm tired.